Many of you guys are going to be car owners. Um, Mr. Joseph, do you want to own a car sometime in the future?
Yeah, I do.
And tell me about the kind of car you might like to have.
Probably like a little truck, maybe.
Oh, a truck. Yeah. I like trucks too. What do you like about trucks?
They're like that you can go anywhere with them.
Yeah, with the four-wheel drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice. Yeah, I've done a lot of cool camping trips like that. Um, Miss Kaylee, what kind of car might you like to have in the future? Okay, we'll come back to her. Um, Mr. Luis, what kind of car would you like to have in the future?
A Tesla.
What?
A Tesla.
A Tesla, right? So most people nowadays, or at least most working adults need a car. Now, that's not to say that cars are the only form of transportation, right? Um, we don't have to drive cars. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing. Some people want to be more eco-friendly, even more eco-friendly than driving a Tesla, and that's okay too, right? Um, some people want to walk. I don't know about you guys, but I like walking to the grocery store. It's a 10-minute walk for me, and I'm okay doing multiple trips. So I'll go on Saturday for my first trip and then Sunday for my second trip. And I'm okay with that because one, it's good for me physically, and it's good for the environment. And so I care about the environment, so I'm trying to do my part where I can. But yeah, even though we're going to be talking about car ownership today, it doesn't mean that cars are the only uh, form of transportation, guys. So just want to put that out there. But many people are going to be looking into buying cars. Now, uh, the other good thing about looking into car ownership is that it helps you understand finances. So buying a car is very similar to uh, buying a home. There's very similar financial processes going on there. It's very similar to picking a school you're going to attend. Sometimes the finances, just so you guys know, when you guys apply to college, each school gives you a financial aid award. But sometimes those offers are different. One school might give you a full ride, right? They're literally going to pay for everything. One school might give you a full ride, but it might be a combination of grants and scholarships, which is free money for you. And then there might be a few $1,000s worth of loans. And then other schools might give you just a little bit of scholarships and mostly loans. So um, understanding big budget purchases is a important skill set to have. And today we're going to use cars as like a basic way of understanding some of those concepts. So without further ado, we get this PowerPoint going. And you guys know me, I love and I appreciate participation. So we have some slides set up where you guys are gonna help me answer some of these questions. And then we have a worksheet we're gonna work through. We're gonna work through part of it together. All righty. So the first question, I just realized that's in German. The first question is, or the first topic we're gonna look at is, what are the costs of owning a car? So one of the things that people don't realize is that owning a car or having a car is not just about buying the car, right? It's not just about purchasing the car. There are costs associated with owning a car after you have already purchased the car. So let's hear from some people and talk about what might be some of the other costs associated with owning a car. And you can, sorry, I'm looking at the chat. You can use the chat or you can participate. You know, Philip, I was gonna say, do we all have our coffee jokingly, but I appreciate that. How many of you guys are coffee drinkers? Valeria is a coffee drinker. Philip is a coffee drinker. Oh my goodness, guys, don't get hooked too young. Melanie's a coffee drinker. All right, we got some responses in the chat. Okay, so let's see. Jasmine saying gas. Angel is saying gas. Emily is saying, oops, I'm writing Emily. Emily is saying insurance. Emily, you drive, right? And I think you're on your phone, so totally understandable if you can't fully answer. Yes, Valeria, maintenance. What else? Paying the monthly payment, yeah. If you are financing the car, yes, monthly payment. Philip, yes, tags. We call that registration. Smog check, yes. That one only comes up every other year, but it is an expense. All right. Someone said oil change. I'll put that under maintenance. What else do we got? Wow, Anthony, gas, $6 for premium. Yep. Yeah, cleaning your car. Definitely. I don't know if you guys know, but like what I know washing your car is, some people like to have their cars dusty. But it's actually good if you wash your car every now and then, and that you do all those extra things. I don't know if you guys have seen people like put wax on their car and do all of that. And the reason it's good to do that is actually it prevents the paint from chipping. I don't know if you have seen like the paint start to chip on some cars. Usually it's because they don't put wax, they don't put those sealers. So yes. Oh, these are all great. NAMI tickets, parking tickets. Yes, if you don't read the sides, parking. I appreciate that one. Tire changes. Yes, these are all really great. I don't know why that font is so big. Okay, oil changes. The lights. Yes, I just changed my lights. I had a little bulb that was out. Keeps, yes, Anthony, it keeps the paint good. Yes. Okay, I have a question. Okay, Emily, I know you're supposed to be with the seniors, but can I pick your brain a little bit more? Are you still here, Emily? I see you are. Yes. Emily, how much is car insurance for you? If you don't mind sharing. Too much. Yes. And okay, can anyone help me out? Why? Yeah. Why is it so much? So Emily's saying she pays $200 per month for car insurance. Yes, because she's a new driver. I was paying like 240. I don't know if you guys know, but if you identify as, if you're a male, identify as a man when you're filling out your insurance stuff, you actually get charged more because men are more likely to be in car accidents. And then younger drivers they also cost more to insure because again, they're newer, less experienced drivers. So it's more likely that they might be in a car accident. So it can be quite expensive. So sometimes it's important to know that when you sign up to own a car, that, there are additional costs. Now, I'm guessing you drive a newer car, right, Emily? Is it like a 2010 and up model year? Yeah, so the newer the car, yeah, 2011, see? almost nailed it. So the newer the car, the more expensive it is to insure. But if you own like a 2001 Honda Civic, it's gonna, even though you're a new driver, it still can be cheaper. And even on that topic of insurance, it's important to, you can actually request quotes from multiple insurance companies to see which one is going to offer you the better deal. And remember, guys, well, I don't know if you guys know this, maybe that's a different topic, but just because your insurance is cheaper doesn't mean that's good for you financially. So there's more that goes into that topic, but that's not for today. All right. Yes, Philip, muscle cars and teenage boys. Yes. Yeah. Anthony, tell me about the Japanese beginner driver symbol. What's that?
Yeah, so for new drivers or like yes, for new drivers they get like a sticker, I guess. It's like a symbol. And you have to put it on your car for I think it's a year.
Yeah.
And so it lets other people like when you're driving know that you're a newer driver, so you're not as experienced, and so
Wow.
I guess like they'll have easier feelings on you on how you drive.
Wow, that's actually really good. That makes too much sense. When I see a bike on the road, I try to be careful. And if I see the person driving slower, I'll try to go around them, but I'm trying to be careful. Sometimes it's, we never know what might be going on with people. So yeah, that's actually a really good idea. All right. Let's see how you guys did. Yes. So cost of owning a car. Yeah, you guys hit it all. So oil changes, that's usually between every 3 to 6 months. Tire changes, maybe every 2 to 3 years, depending on how much you drive. So yes, there's all of that. You guys hit it. One of the ones that I would add is the initial purchase price. So whether you buy it used or whether you buy it, you're financing the car, there's always an upfront cost that you have to meet. So you might have to save money. Yes, brakes. Yeah, those are good for about 60,000 miles. All right, moving it along. All right. Now, when you guys are in the stages of buying a car or that you need a car, you guys are going to have some options. You're going to have the option of looking at a used car or looking at a new car. And then there's like a in between. There's pre-owned certified, meaning that it's a used car, but it still has barely been used, and usually it still has the car manufacturer's warranty, meaning that if something happens to the car engine or important parts of the car, it's still new enough that the dealer or the car manufacturer will repair those things at no cost to you. So that's the pre-owned certified. So it's like kind of new, but not really. One of the things we're not going to talk about in this talk, because I'm not a car expert, are, for example, how many miles is good for a car, like how much mileage for a used car. So that's a topic for another day, and also maybe with a different person. But yeah, let's talk about some of the pros and cons about buying a used car. And then we'll talk about pros and cons for buying a new car. So let's hear from some people that we haven't heard from today. Miss Cindy Paz, what is a pro of buying a used car? What are some good things associated with buying a used car?
You could get the car for a cheaper price.
Yes, it's more affordable. Yes, much more affordable. For example, a used car, like a good, decent, reliable used car, right now, nowadays, you can get one maybe for $5,000 to $7,000 versus a new car, which is easily going to cost at least, $15,000 minimum. And if it's brand new, you're looking at $20,000. So yeah, it's more affordable. Thank you, Cindy. Dumini, what is a pro associated with buying a used car? Is there any other pros?
Well, I was gonna try to say it's kind of the same thing as the amount is less for used car, but I would say the monthly payment would be cheaper, I think.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. What do you call it? You can buy used car and make monthly payments. There's some dealers that will finance used cars. So, for example, you can buy a very reliable, decent used car for $8,000 or
Mhm.
$10,000. So your monthly payment is going to be lower, and it's going to be reliable, right? So that's a good point, Domini. You can finance a used car. Thank you for that. All right. Philip, what car are you looking at? Remind me. Dodge Challenger, a muscle car. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, 10 grand easy. And then probably has a lot of miles. Anthony, how many miles does it have? We're just talking about used cars in general. I would say one that doesn't have, it has some miles on it, but not too many. Not to the point where like we wouldn't consider buying it. Any other pros? I know this one's a tough one. We're not all car people. Okay, all right. If you come up with any pros, go ahead and share them. Let's look at some cons. What are some cons associated with used cars? Let's hear from Alejandra. What are some cons when it comes to owning a used car? Yes. Cheaper to insure. Thank you, Luis. Yes. Overall, less cost. Less miles per hour. What does that mean, Jasmine?
Don't you have like a certain limit to drive, and then after a while you kind of need to get that fixed or something like that? I heard of something like that.
Yeah, you're right. So, for example, a car can easily run for 60,000, 70,000 miles nowadays without needing major maintenance besides oil changes and tire rotations, the basics. But you're right. Once a car starts hitting, certain mile markers, 60,000, 80,000, 100,000, that's when you need to start replacing some important parts, either replacing or inspecting to make sure that they're okay. So yeah, you're right. Once you start hitting those mileage markers, then you're gonna have to start worrying about some bigger, maybe pricier things to replace. And yes, Melanie, reliability, right? Yeah, I've been there. My car's broken down on me on the freeway. I was going 70 miles an hour, and thankfully, and it just shut off. The radiator wasn't working, it was leaking, and it was a summer day, and yeah, the car overheated on me, and that was the end of that car. And I waited underneath I got off the exit, my car turned off, the power steering turned off, so I couldn't really steer. It was kind of scary. I made it to the off ramp, and then I had to wait like 3 hours underneath the underpass, and like 4 or 5 people tried to help me with the jump start, but it wasn't the jump start. So yeah, reliability. And yeah, sometimes if your car is very old and has a lot of mileage, then yeah, you're going to be having to do a lot of repairs frequently, every few months. Anthony, oh yeah, Philip is saying the interior is older. maybe it's dirtier, maybe that's not your thing. And then Anthony is saying, Mr. Marquez, I don't know how, but my aunt has a 1989 Ford F-150 and it's 550K miles with little to no problems. So usually trucks are very reliable because, and they last a long time. One, if all the regular maintenance is done. And then two, trucks tend to be used for very heavy duty things. So they're over engineered. They're engineered very well. Like the engines, the materials they use are stronger than what they're used in a car. And then those engines tend to be bigger. So if your aunt didn't use it for work and like didn't use it as a construction site truck and things like that, those older cars with the bigger engines, yeah, you will see that they last a very long time, because it's not being used to its full capacity. So it's basically hasn't really been used. So yeah, that's very common. So 1989 Ford F-150, 550,000 miles. Yeah, that's very common for trucks. It's her daily driver. Yeah, see, so yeah, if you use it lightly like that, then yes. And if you guys do some calculations, sometimes if you buy like a ultra reliable car like that, it might be very expensive up front, but over time, the fact that she's had it for what, 10, 20, 30 years, that's savings right there. That actually results in savings. All right. Wow, Anthony, Philip, you guys know quite a bit about cars. Very proud of you guys. All right. What are some of the pros associated with new cars? All righty. Kaylee, are you there? Safety systems. Yes. Okay, Kaylee, what are some of the reasons we might want to get a new car over an old car?
Better features.
Yeah. What is a feature you might want to have in your car or that you enjoy?
Some have like touch screen.
Yes. Touch screen. Yes. What else? What's a feature you like? What other features do you like? Better mileage. Yes, lots of good answers in the chat. So let's go ahead and read them out. It's cleaner. Yes. So you feel clean, you're in a new, fresh, brand new car, newest technology, better safety systems. Yeah, nowadays, on a lot of cars, those safety features come standard. So the little warning lights that someone's in your blind spot, the backup camera. There's a lot of cars nowadays for like $800 more. You could get the safety feature that keeps your car in the lane. So the more modern car it is, the more safety features. Reliability, yes, less likely to break down. Yeah, you're not gonna have to worry about replacing things. Better mileage, yes. Modern cars tend to get better fuel economy, so you'll spend a little bit less fuel costs. The new car smell, yes, the new car smell slaps, Anthony. Since it's new, it's probably gonna last you longer. Yes, the newer the car, well, the better engineered that they have become. So yes, they will last. They can also last long. No bad history on the car. That's a really good one. What does that mean, Marisol? No bad history. You expand on that.
It means like that the car hasn't like been in any accidents or any like major things done to them.
Yeah. What happens if you buy a car that was in a major accident, Marisol? Have you heard, or what do you think happens?
I'm not really sure. I think like it could probably mess up some stuff like that could be on the car that you don't know about. Like from the inside.
Yeah, it could, for example, some examples. For example, sometimes what people do is they fix it up, and so on the outside it looks fine, but when you drive it, for example, something may have happened with the suspension or the steering to the point where it doesn't feel safe to drive, right? Or maybe, there's just so many things that could happen. So yeah, no bad history. You're buying the car and you know that, hey, this is fresh and I'm the only owner or the second owner, and there very little has been done to it. So if you buy a used car, there might be some modifications that you don't know about. Yeah, no history of wrecks or theft. Joseph, being able to show off. Yes, once you get your new car, you can take us for a spin. All right, good stuff, guys. What are some cons associated with new cars? Let's have some people. Yes, thank you, Luis. Yes, it's expensive, a higher monthly payment. Yes, new cars are pretty significant investments, 20,000 on average or higher. And then you have to save up, right? Most people have to do so. You have to pay part of the cost. That's called a down payment. And so you gotta at least have that amount saved up. They recommend to pay upfront usually 20% of the cost. So if the car costs 20,000, you want to save up 4,000 for the down payment. Vulnerability to theft be a con? No, I would say that that's actually a pro, right? Right, Anthony? Better anti-theft features. You're right. Older cars tend to be more vulnerable to theft because they have simpler security features. All right. Any other cons for new cars, if any? Okay, I'll take that as a no. And just for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and move on. All right, guys, let's see how you did. Let's see how you guys did. Let's see. Okay, so that was what we came up with as a group. And then I have, of course, my own list. All right. All right. So let's see. Did you guys get them all? Pros of used cars: more affordable, less worried about damage. So if something happens to your used car, it's a used car, right? You're not going to hang on to it forever. It's less costly to insure. Simpler systems and features sometimes mean it's more reliable. You maybe buying a used car meets your short-term needs and you hang on to it for just a little bit and then you sell it. The value of a used car is usually stable. So new cars, right? A new car might be valued at, let's say, $20,000, but the moment you drive it off the lot, you lose like $2,000 off the value. Like if you were to try to sell it the next day, you couldn't get it for the 20,000 because it's no longer new. So car value depreciates greatly for new cars in the first 2 to 3 years of ownership, whereas the value of a used car tends to be stable because it's already depreciated in its value. The other pro of a used car that you guys didn't mention was that you can usually buy a used car, right? It's easier to save up for. And so when you buy it, you own it, right? It's your car. So you don't have to worry about making additional payments if you bought it outright. And you don't have to worry about other things like that. Like it's your car, you can do whatever you want. Whereas if you're financing the car, well, you can't do certain modifications. You can't do certain things because it's still technically not your car, you're still paying. And then what else? I'm just trying to look at things that you guys didn't cover. New cars are covered by manufacturer warranty. A lot of car companies nowadays have pretty good warranties. It should last you like the first 3 years. Some have really good warranties, like the Hyundai car brand. They will have a manufacturer warranty of 10 years, basically. And so if anything happens to the major components, like the engine or transmission, they will, cover those things. And that's it. Yeah. Another con of new cars is that you need to have a credit history. Ideally, you have a credit history, which many people don't have right when they turn 18. But most people don't usually buy a brand new car right when they turn 18. Maybe a certified pre-owned, which is a lot more affordable than a fully brand new car. Yes, Philip, resale value drops ridiculously. Yes, for new cars. But actually right now, the car I used to own, it's like doubled in value. It's kind of crazy because some of these cars are becoming classics. So, all right, guys. So we've made it through the discussion, and we are now going to enter into our worksheet portion. We're going to cover half of the worksheet together, and then once we cover that, we'll go ahead and I'll give you the document so you can finish the worksheet on your own. All right, so the scenario is that you will be purchasing a certified pre-owned car with low mileage, meaning it's barely used relative to how long the car could last. Nowadays, cars can easily last up to at least 100,000 miles, most up to 200,000 miles if you have if you've bought a reliable car brand. Just to give you a sense of, okay, what's a good mileage, right? And here are some concepts that we need to look at together before I kind of let you guys go do things on your own. '69 Camaro. When you get that car, Philip, you call me up. You call me up. Those muscle cars, yes, they're very appealing. All right, here we go. So we're gonna talk about financing a car, right? So let's look at some basic things. All righty, let's get some folks to help me read some of these key terms. I think just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna have one person, we'll have one person read all of them. Miss Katie Rodriguez, are you there? Do you have your coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, can you read these terms out for me? These are important financial terms that we need to understand before we finance a car.
Okay. Loan, money that needs to be repaid by a borrower, generally with interest. Interest rate, a percentage of a sum borrowed that is charged by a lender or merchant for letting you use its money. Principal, the money that you originally agreed to pay back on a loan. Term, a fixed or limited period of time for which something lasts or intends to last. For example, a 5-year loan, a 3-year certificate of deposit, a 1-year insurance policy, and a 3-year mortgage.
Awesome, thank you, Katie. So when you guys become adults, and you guys are looking at some of these things, maybe you're buying a home or buying a car or taking out a student loan or a credit card. These are the key terms that you will see, right? Interest rate, principal, and term. Some of you guys have already seen some of this in your math classes, in most math classes like algebra. You guys will do some of these calculations, so this should not be too unfamiliar. And I recommend not drinking too much coffee. You guys in the chat. All right, so let's look at an example. We'll do this example together. So here's an example. Let's say you are taking out a loan. And the principal, right, the amount that you're borrowing is 10,000. So the principal is 10,000. And the person or the bank loaning you the loan says, all right, we'll give you the 10,000, and based on your credit score, we're going to give you a 5% interest rate, an annual interest rate. And then you say, okay, I don't want to pay too much interest, but I also don't have enough money to pay it off too fast. So we're going to do a 5-year term, meaning that I agree to fully pay back the $10,000 and the interest in 5 years. So here is what we call a simple interest formula. Now, calculating interest is a little bit more complex, but for the sake of simplicity and for this example, we're going to use the simple interest formula. With the simple interest formula, it's pretty straightforward. To calculate the interest you would pay on a specific loan over a specific term, you use this formula. So your interest is equal to your principal, the amount of money you initially borrowed, the interest rate times the interest rate, multiplied by the amount of time it's going to take you to pay it off. So let's get the next animation in. So in this example, if you borrowed $10,000 and the interest rate is 5%, in this case, it's 0.05. That's how you express 5% numerically. And my time is in years, 5 years. The interest I would pay by the time I'm done, 5 years have passed, the total amount of interest that I will have paid is $2,500. So the total, meaning the total amount that I'll pay is equal to the interest plus the principal. So I'm paying back not $10,000, I'm paying back $12,500. So that is how interest works and accumulates, especially on these kinds of things that take a long time to pay back. Philip, you're good. Yeah, yes, it's a heart attack. Yeah, $500 a year, you're gonna give me a heart attack with these huge numbers. Yeah, that's how it is. I have been meaning to ask Mr. Mack to do a home ownership workshop for us. So imagine $10,000 is a small amount when you're talking about home ownership. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, so you gotta be ready for this kind of things. All right. Okay. Hey, well, if you save up your upward bound money, and you keep your attendance up, you're gonna get at least 1,000 years in senior year. And then I think it's a max of like 750 for junior year. So if you keep your attendance up, you'll have at least like 1,500 that might help you with the down payment. So just something to consider. All right, here is the scenario, and in a moment I will let you guys do your thing. All right, let's get someone to read the scenario. All right, Mr. Ryan, can you read this scenario for us, por favor?
Yeah. Congratulations on your new dream job. Your net monthly income will be $4,000. It's a 20-minute drive, so your commute won't be bad. However, your old car isn't dependable. You don't want car troubles to cause you to be late or miss work, so you've decided to buy a reliable used car. You want to figure out how much you can afford before making your choice. Because you take the responsibility of loans seriously, you are committed to pay off the debt on time and for the lowest cost possible. You want to be sure the loan is helping you meet your needs, not your wants. You are hoping to find a car that allows you to get the smallest loan possible.
Awesome, very wonderful. You should. I need to call on you more, Ryan. That was very well read. So keywords here. You're trying to be a smart financial buyer. When you guys go out and start shopping for homes, for cars, when you have student loans, there's going to be options. Not all loans are equal. So in this worksheet and exercise we're going to do, we're going to explore just that. $4,000 a month, that's pretty good. That's pretty good money right there. And that's after taxes. So gross pay is before taxes. Net monthly income AKA take home pay. That's after taxes, after benefits, after all of that. So 4,000, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. So in this exercise, before you do anything, what we're going to do as a group is we're going to determine the monthly amount that our budget, that our income of $4,000 is going to allow us to afford. So we're going to be focusing in on that monthly payment. Can we afford that monthly car payment? And then the second thing you're going to look at is I'm going to give you some options of cars and some options of loans to see which one you can afford and which one meets your needs and your goals. Now, when it comes to personal finance, a good rule of thumb to dedicate to transportation costs is 10 to 15% of your income, right? It's just kind of how they say that your housing costs should not exceed, you know, anywhere between 30 to 45%, 50%. And why do financial experts give this kind of advice? Well, once you guys become adults, you guys want to make sure that you're taking care of each financial area of life, right? So you got to set aside some money for retirement. You got to set aside some money for emergency savings. You got to set aside money for paying for health insurance, car insurance, all of that. So a general rule of thumb is that people that are well off financially and have financial flexibility and are financially healthy try to keep their transportation costs to 10 to 15% of their monthly income. Goodbye money. I have never gone for what I need, only what I can afford. Yes, how many of us live that way, right? One day, Philip, you're gonna be able to buy what you want, and more than just what you need. All right. In this example specifically, right? Because we're focusing in on the monthly payment. I got other expenses, so I don't want to go over a certain amount. My monthly payment needs to be a certain amount because, you know, 4,000 a month is good money, is decent money. But we're also not, you know, millionaires. So how do we do that? All right. So in this example, we're gonna allocate 14% of our net monthly income. And that's gonna help us figure out, what kind of monthly car payment we can afford. Now, in this example, the example says, trying to get out of full screen mode here. Skip ahead a little bit. In this example, we're estimating that car insurance is going to be about $100 a month. And that we're gonna be spending $150 on gas per month with how much we drive it. And that we're gonna set aside $50 a month for maintenance, repairs, and our annual registration. Newer cars usually cost more when it comes to the registration. So we're setting aside $50 a month because at some point we'll have to pay that $100, $200 registration. We'll have to pay the $60 for the oil change. So we're just gonna go ahead and include that as part of our monthly budget. All righty. So can anyone do the quick math? Sorry, this is not 4,000. This amount in this top box right here needs to be 4,000. It needs to be 14% of 4,000. So can someone give me 14% of 14,000?
Wait, you said 4,000, right?
Yeah, 14% of 4,000. Yes.
That's 560.
Yes. No worries, Valeria. That's all right. 560. So 14% of my monthly income. So that means my monthly budget for car costs is $560. Now we gotta account for the things that we know are just their costs are just there. They're always gonna be there. So I gotta account for insurance, gas, and car maintenance, repair, registration. So I deduct the 100, the 150, and the 50 from the 560. So what is 560 minus these three numbers here? And then once we do this calculation, that's the monthly payment we can afford. Yes. Oh man, y'all are on this. It is $260, guys. So that means that I can comfortably, like if I want to save for retirement, have normal savings and emergency savings, pay for my housing, pay for everything else, have some spending money, I need to make sure that my car payment, my monthly car payment that I'm paying for the car itself is $260. So that's the monthly payment we can afford on this $4,000 income. All right. Here are your options, guys. We've got a 2015 Honda Civic with 28,000 miles, very low miles. The cost is $13,000, $791. And you're gonna, the bank, or sorry, the car dealership is offering you a 5% interest loan. The second car, also reliable, 2015 Nissan Sentra, with a little bit less miles, 24,000. The cost, because it's a little bit less miles, is 14,712, and your interest rate is 5%. And then this is just for an example. You could imagine another car here. I just put the Jeep just for fun. A 2012 Jeep Wrangler with more miles, and it's an older model, but because it's a luxury type of car, it's an enthusiast type of car, it's costs just about the same as these other cars, but the interest rate is a little bit lower. All right. Now, these are the cars I'm just using for the example. You're free to imagine whatever car you would like. But basically, you're going to have 3 cars to pick from, and you're going to have 3 types of loans to pick from. You're either going to do a 4-year loan, a 5-year loan, or a 6-year loan. And your job is to find the car and find the loan that you can afford. So in one moment, I'm going to put the worksheet in the chat. Let me stop sharing. Philip is making some comments about Jeeps. Well, you guys, oh my goodness. I didn't know you guys were car people. But now I know who my car people are. Is there while I pull up this worksheet, is there a car club at high school, at the high school? I'm surprised there isn't, or isn't one already. Yes, I'm looking at an electric bike actually, Jasmine, so I could ride it to work. Okay. Okay, here is the worksheet that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. I just want to show it to you. So basically we've covered the first couple pages already together, right? We've calculated that the income we can afford is 260 per month. But here's where you come in, right? You're gonna have to use this formula to calculate how much each loan is, how much interest you're gonna pay on each loan. And then here are the 3 cars, right? And the interest rates. So this is where you come in. This is where you have to do the calculations, right? So you'll have to input the price of the car. You have the interest rate for that specific car. It's the same across all the loan lengths. So that's something you don't have to worry about. And then you have to calculate the cost of the car. So the price of the car plus the loan interest. And then you have to find your monthly payment. This is given in years. So you'll have to do a small conversion. So for example, the total cost divided by 48 months, that's going to be your monthly payment. And then for the 5-year loan, whatever your total cost is divided by 60 months, because that's how you get the monthly payment, right? You take the total cost and divide it by the number of months you're going to be paying it over. So let me give you the link to this worksheet, and then you guys can download a copy. What I want you to do is go ahead and complete this page 3, and then we'll come back and check in about 20 minutes. That should be more than enough time for you guys to finish doing the calculations. Now so that you can edit it, again, I recommend you download it to your computer. Make sure it goes into your download folder, because you'll be submitting it for credit at the end of this academy. All right, there is the link to the worksheet in the chat. And what I will do is I will go ahead and email this also right now to your emails that we have on file. Yes, Philip, take your time. As long as you submit it by the end of today, I will take it. Any questions on what we're doing? All right, no questions. Fabio, what are we working on? Yes, the monthly payment you can afford is $260 a month, if that helps. I think that's what you're asking for, Philip. That's because that's 14% of your monthly income. So whatever car loan you take out needs to be 260 or lower, like the monthly payment. And then the worksheet itself has all of the formulas that you should need. And yeah, so if you have any questions on how to calculate it, we can look at it, but we'll check back in at around 10:25-ish. But I think everyone should be done by 10:30. Okay, download it to your local files. Try not to open it in the web browser. If there's any way to download it locally. And if not, Philip, maybe you can do the calculations on a piece of paper. Okay, okay. Got it. That's fine. If anyone needs help or you're stuck, feel free to ask a question and I can meet you in the breakout room if you're not 100% sure how to do it. Yes, I can show the three options. Now, these three options, they're listed in the worksheet as well, if that helps. And then, of course, these options are just fictitious. They could literally be any car that you would like. The main key part is the cost and the interest rate.
Corresponding shapes like puzzle pieces from clay. True, it may seem like a stretch, but it's thoughts like this that catch my troubled head when you're away, when I am missing you to death. When you're out there on the road for several weeks and shows, and when you scan the radio, I hope this song will guide you home. They will see us waving from sides.
And I know you guys are working on your own, but feel free to get up and stretch, guys. Ugh. I know I need to.